had a catastrophic failure.
What?
Whole arm is gone.
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What, a vertebrae or?
Oh, that's a lot of damage!
Sweet.
Are you missing parts?
Ball joint's ripped out of its socket.
Is everything still like on the quad or?
Well, I mean...
Where's your tire?
Oh, no, yeah, it's still there.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's held on by anything besides maybe brake lines, though. And a tie rod.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Who can I call here? Where's Matt when you need him, huh? Utah? Yeah. Today's been all bad, my friend. Well, the beach was
No, the beach was good.
Yeah, the beach.
We had a good time there.
At least it happened close and not way the fuck out there.
This is exactly why I bought a second quad and I didn't bring it. I biffed it at Secret Pass on this side, so I think that's gonna weaken it or something. Yeah, because the ball joints are pulled out of their socket. It's not like out of the A-arm. Wow. Those are brand new ball joints.
All balls? You mean no balls?
Got him!
Yeah. Cannot take any balls. It's a shame both ball joints took a shit, because if
I know,
one of them was
if
on
one
there,
of them was on there, it wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah.
It's all because you didn't bring your helmet, Paul.
I think that was the sign. Someone was trying to tell me something like, "Hey, dummy, shit ain't right." Ball joints. Oh, 3,500 to 4,000 miles. Can't remember exactly, but went through Moab, 2 trips to Sand Hollow, all kinds of stuff. This was just preventative maintenance. None of these actually failed. So I switched to all balls. Been dealing with, been buying these parts for years on sport quads and things like that. Never had an issue. Well, we've had an issue. And I tell you what, getting that back in there with no tire and no ball joints, that was a trick.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. Ouchtown population, you, bro!
Going on. I gotta get the black pearl off of here. I could get help down here. My buddies are just solid dudes like that. They'd come down here if I asked them, but I just don't want to bother them after all that help that they put in putting this quad in the bed. I'm here with all my resources. I'm gonna figure this out by myself. So here's what I got going on. This is still all strapped up. This is how we got this into there in the first place. What I got going is I put a jack under there, and how I got this hooked up is there's a strap hooked to the jack itself, and then that strap is then hooked to the quad with some tension on it. As I back the quad off, the jack will roll all the way to the back of the truck. There's going to be a lot going on here, because as I back up, the quad's going to be rolling down the ramp, so the rear is going to drop, so the jack is going to, the front's going to feel like it's lifting up and off.
Well, we've all been there.
got this big pile of Polaris in here. Let's go ahead and pop a squat. Check out the damage here. Up close and personal like. First things first, that bottom one is split way down in there. You can see it right there. Pretty normal though for letting it break like that. You know, and oh yeah, look at that. So, wonder how well you're gonna be able to see that on the old camera here, but the tie rod bent. Then that, of course, we've already seen this. Good old ball joint. Pulled the whole ball out of the joint. Now I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see in there. But the brake line right there is getting wore out. It's still holding fluid, thank God. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get all this stuff unbolted, all the broken parts off of here, get this axle back in, and then get this tied up out of the way, get this shock off, and then I can start putting it all back together. So here we go. I really wish I didn't have to make a video like this, but pretty disappointed because I've used all balls my whole life. It was sport quads up to this quad. I doubt I will be doing all balls after this, and let me show you why. My calipers here, you know, before I even get to that, you can see it with the naked eye. The neck down towards the ball at the all balls on the right hand side over here is clearly, visually narrower than the neck down on the OEM stock Polaris ball joint. That is rather important to what we're talking about, given how the first failure happened. The first failure happened right there at the neck down. So what had happened was this ball joint broke on the top, snapped in half, and with all those remaining forces it applied to the bottom ball joint, it yanked this ball out of the joint. This thing's all cut to pieces because I was having a heck of a time pressing this thing out. I ended up molering the end here, trying to press this out without this in there. Let's get the caliper in here, so zero that out. Stand you up while we do this. Getting right at 11 on the necked down portion of this. Then we're getting 12 3/4, basically 2 millimeters difference between the neck down portions of these. And you could see the Polaris neck's down to its minimum size just for a second, whereas the all balls is at its minimum size for quite a great length. And this isn't really a huge issue. However, the snap rings that come with the original Polaris OEM stuff are a lot thinner than the snap rings that come with the all balls. There appears to be more grease, at least in the all balls, for whatever's that's worth. Just out of curiosity, I'm gonna measure the diameter of the actual interface into the A-arms. 30.95 on the all balls, 30.92 on the Polaris. Yeah, just super disappointed in all balls, in the quality and build of these ball joints. I mean, they are not light pieces of equipment. These quads dry weight are in the 800s, close to 900 pound range. That's dry weight without a rider, without gear, without any of that stuff. Going with a obviously weaker design, I'd say, because like I said earlier, stock equipment had multiple trips to San Hollow, had a trip to Moab on these, rode it really hard, had a couple of bad instances on the trail. They never failed me. The only reason I replaced these is because they seemed like they were loose. I wish I would have never preemptively changed those to these, because even though they're tight, one trip to San Hollow, And honestly, I've been riding it kind of nicer than I used to. The older I get, the slower I'm getting. So I'm just disappointed, man. So anyway, if you were to do ball joints on a Scrambler XP1000S, I'd recommend at least OEM Polaris ball joints. I can't recommend anything else given I haven't tried it, but Jay's Parts also has a good reputation behind it. But hell, so did all balls. So I know I'll just be sticking with Polaris OEM from now on. Anyway, we're almost there. We got to do the shock, and I'm getting ready to do that right now. I was just testing, seeing which O-rings were still good from the old ones, and then I got new O-rings to put on the ones that some of these. I said in some of my prior videos how these O-rings were splitting really bad because how the front shocks are at that rake. So I got some new O-rings from Polaris. Here's that part number if you want that. So while I'm doing the shocks, I wanted to mention this. When you're putting it all back together, there's 2 different sized bushings right there. They keep falling out, so I might as well pick up one off the ground here. So they're 2 different part numbers. I'll put the diagram and the part numbers like on the screen somewhere. You can see there's 2 different thicknesses, and by the diagram that I showed earlier, you could tell that the smaller or thinner bushings go on the top, and the thicker, fatter bushings go on the bottom. First things first, I guess we'll do the shock 15s on both sides. The brake caliper, to get the brake caliper assembly off, is these 2 bolts. They're in gold. They're on the back side, and those are both 15s as well. The tie rod is a 15 right here, but an 18 up there. And the size of the tie rod cutoff bit that's right there by the soft part of the joint, that is a 15 on both sides. And I'm not going to go over lug nuts, that should be obvious. The nuts on the ball joints are 18s. And the castle nut is a 1 1/16. That's what I've been using to get that off. It's probably metric somewhere, like it's probably some sort of metric, but this is what I have that fit that the closest. So a 1 1/16 will fit, and whatever the conversion is after metric. Oh, look who we have here. Is it the shop manager? Did I do good work today? Huh? Did I? I know, don't worry. I'm cleaning it up. I took too long for the boss to clean up. He took off. He's going to bed. But everything's getting all buttoned up, so I'll get those tie rods on tomorrow and then get the tires back on there and then get this thing on its first test ride back. So the new tie rods came in, and I noticed something that I didn't know before, so I'll let you in on a little secret here. The new tie rods came from Jay's Parts. Honestly, I wasn't going to get these high strength tie rods because I'm not so sure more unbreakable tie rods is the correct answer, because in my mind, if you can't bend your tie rod, then that just moves the weak link further up the system, possibly to something harder to change or more expensive, more than likely something harder to change and more expensive, in my opinion. But they were back ordered on stock tie rods from Polaris.com, and I couldn't find anywhere else to get stock tie rods. You have to be careful because they'll try and sell you Scrambler 1000 tie rods, but you have to make sure it's for the S, the 55-inch wide model. When they came in and I started putting these ones together, I realized that there's one tie rod that's longer than the other. And I didn't know that when I was taking them off. I just didn't realize it's a very minimal difference. But luckily for me, it's easy for me to determine which side was the longer one, because the side that got bent was the longer one. So, but just if you're going to be doing tie rods, make sure to make note of which side is the longer one. Matter of fact, I'll just tell you right now. If you're sitting on the bike at your left-hand side, it's your brake side that has the longer tie rod on it. So
Tomorrow for sure.
I was just testing out the ball joints on the Black Pearl here, and it came out. the snap ring is definitely failing, which if you buy them from Polaris, newsflash, they don't come with new snap rings. So, man, I got my fingers crossed. I'm going to get some new snap rings, pop those in. Hopefully that stops it. But that shouldn't be coming unpressed like that. I think that hole might be too wallered out to use.
Keep on smiling. Oh, shit! I said over easy!
I'm fixing the ball joints. Snap ring's in its groove. This ball joint just fell into this hole, and it just spins. It's even got a little up and down. I really don't even feel like I want to try.
One eternity later.
Alright, so I can't remember what the last thing we talked about was. This video is spread out through quite a long time. Black Pearl parts finally just came in. You'll probably be wondering why one's black while one is the typical red for the 2021 model. And that is because they are out of the reds. They were estimating sometime maybe in September they'd get them, but I mean, I don't want to risk waiting that long and that not be the case. So if you're ever looking for a specific arm, like, so this was the right hand, this is the left hand. They didn't have specifically left hand and red, and if you come across the same problem in the specific color you want, try a different year. So this is for the 2023 and 2024 model, those blue model scramblers. They had a left arm in that year, and they're all the same as far as make and quality and stuff like that. So I'll just have one black arm for now. That's fine. It'll be like an idiot reminder to not buy cheap parts.
Hello? That's not funny!
And someday when, I don't know, the motor blows up or it needs a total rebuild, something like that, whenever I have to pull the whole motor, what I'll probably do is strip this thing down to the frame and have the whole thing powder coated anyway. And be real SEMA with it. So the reason I needed new arms is because the ball joints are just slipping in and out of my old arms. It's probably from them being pushed out a couple times now.
You just blew my mind.
It's reamed out the hole. So, giggity. I needed brand new arms because I've watched a couple videos on maybe a couple like fixes for it. The problem comes with, look how thin that material is around there. So you could try welding your ball joints in if you felt comfortable with that, but a lot of the people I talk to worry about it becoming brittle, especially with how thin of metal that is. And as far as like a machinist being able to like put a sleeve in there or something, it's just so thin of metal. I don't know how feasible that actually is. So new arms it was, which they're about $195 a piece before taxes and shipping and all that, which on Polaris website, over $100 is free shipping, at least at the time of this video. So I said I was going to revisit the ball joint thing because I was using this on the first time doing ball joints and this stunk. I really didn't like this very much at all. So I was trying a bunch of different things. This is kind of what I've settled on. I just got a pretty typical ball joint tool from Vevor, and the trick is the platform to actually push against is too small for most things in the kit, and I've tried a different kit too, OEM I believe. So this is what I found works the best. It's actually a 32 millimeter axle socket, and why this works the best is because it's just wide enough to fit the ball joint inside of it, long enough to fit the whole thing inside of it so you won't run out of room. But because the walls are so thick, there's plenty of platform there to rest on there to get this job done. So it's not a perfect solution by any means, and it kind of stinks like having to get a ball joint kit if you don't already have one, and then a 32 millimeter long socket. But that's what I found, so that's what I've been using, and it seems to work all right. So just want to touch base on that again because I remember I promised I'd try to figure something else out because this didn't work at all. And voila, just like that, she's in. And I guess the only thing I'd like really impart on you when doing this is make sure that this ball joint is all the way in, so that way there's a big enough groove to make sure, absolutely 100% positive, that that snap ring is fully engaged in that groove.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
And she's done. Nothing left to do but the test ride, and you know, got my fingers crossed. But I don't really need to, because I made sure everything's all nice and buttoned up. And if this comes back to bite me, then you'll never see it, because I'll edit it out. Just gonna go ahead and, yeah. Let's go ahead and replace that with a company that supports me through all my rides and never lets me down. There we go. Now I know what you're thinking. Maybe if you lay off the hamburgers, you wouldn't be busting the ball joints out of that quad. And I have one thing to say to you. Just because you ride doesn't make it any less mean.
That guy in a little coat. That guy in a little coat.
Come again? You know I don't speak Spanish. In English, please.
great success.
Well, that's a successful test ride. That was pretty abusive on the front, right there at the end. I don't know how much I'll show you because some of it was boring, but yeah, that was pretty successful. I feel super confident I can ride this without double guessing it now. Nothing left to do but to pack it up. I could sit in here, right?
Huh?
I can sit in there?
Yeah.
All right. We'll have to bring the truck down here. It's
What?
probably... Yeah, they popped out.
You're shitting me.
Yeah, look. Yeah, I'm fucking with you.
God damn.
Think I'd be sitting here with my helmet on?
Yeah, that's true. You'd have been like, motherfucker.
Dude, this helmet would have been in those bushes somewhere.